What's up guys, my name's Liam, and today we're going to be talking about a mouse that has a lot of hype around it, and for the past few weeks, every time I've been posting a video, people keep asking me, where is the Scyrox V8 review? So why is that? This has a 3950 sensor, advertised to weigh around 36 grams, and 8K polling rate, all this coming in around $69.99. So does it live up to the hype, and more importantly, is this going to be the perfect gaming mouse for you? Let's check it out. And before we get started, I did want to let you know that these mice were sent out to me. However, everything you're going to be hearing in this video is going to be my own words and my own opinions. And in case you have not seen the unboxing experience, I did want to showcase that for you really quick. It does have a pretty cool floating effect right here as soon as you open this up. And then you're going to have all of the parts that do come with the mouse right underneath that. So out of the box, the mouse does not come with any skates on it. I did actually put these dot skates on there myself. And just to be clear, this does not come included with dot skates. These are some of my own. This does, however, come included with these larger stylus skates and the corner skates. As you can see, there's also a user manual. And then this does come included with the 8K receiver, which is a nice touch. I do appreciate the fact that you do not have to purchase it separately. So if you get the yellow mouse or whatever color you get, as you can see, it is a yellow matching puck. There's a rubberized bottom on it, and same thing with the USB-C cable. It does come included. The yellow mouse had come with a yellow USB-C cable, and the white one comes with the white cable. I've been testing out two copies of this mouse, and both of them really do feel identical to one another. The white one might just be slightly a little bit heavier, but we'll get into that here in just a little bit. Nothing that's noticeable, just numbers that do come on the scale. So very simple functions down here on the bottom. You got your power button, DPI button right down here, and I love the skate design on this. And the skates that do come included with this, they are actually really good. I've been really enjoying these skates a lot. So as you can see, plenty of real estate here to put just about any type of design that you want as far as dots, the corner skates that do come included, and I really appreciate the fact it does come with these full-size skates. But coming over to the top, I believe I've only had these for about 5 days or so, so this is not a long-term review in terms of the build quality, but just so far out of the box, I have been hammering these things non-stop pretty much since I have gotten them. I have not had any issues yet with any type of flexing or creaking. This does actually feel really solid, and the materials, you know, they might be a little bit on the thinner side, but for me, nothing that you really notice. If you were to push maybe really hard here in the middle, yeah, you can get some bend, but normally gripping this mouse with my grip style, which is something like this, nothing at all that I noticed. So completely solid build, and this does come with a coating on it. The coating really does feel fantastic. It is grippy even if you get sweaty hands, so everything about the feeling of this in the hands has felt great. These are using the very popular Omron Opticals, which still are currently my favorite opticals that I've ever used so far. Very lightweight, and the click implementation on these, it's pretty good for the most part. Just a very minimal amount of play, but nothing that you really notice here. So the pre and post travel from the center click here feels pretty solid. All the way up here at the front, it's a little bit more play, but you can still use this up here in the front if you can reach up here pretty nicely, and you can make contact with the base if you were to squeeze hard enough. But the build quality on these clicks on both my units, being really hard with them here, as you can see, I'm like barely getting any type of left to right play. So the entire time that I've had my hands on these mice, they just feel solid. I don't notice any major movement or anything like that. And just showing you guys, I'm being really hard there on the left to right. So everything as far as the clicks feel really good. And the implementation's pretty solid. Gets a little bit more stiff back here, but still clickable and pretty spammable if you're to do some type of aggressive grip, something like that. But yeah, all around, pretty solid on the clicks. For the scroll wheel, it does have a nice and grippy rubberized ring. The steps on it are light, so it is a bit of a lighter feeling scroll wheel, but I didn't notice an issue with the steps getting stuck in between the notches or anything like that, so pretty solid. The center click, just a little stiff, but nothing too major or too hard to press, just a little bit more firm feeling there. And then again, same thing and feeling over here on this white copy. And when it comes to the side buttons, they've done a really good job at the tolerances on this. So as you can see there, very minimal pre-travel, and they do feel really lightweight. The post-travel, there's a little bit post-travel there, but you can't really push it too much into the shell there, but there is some movement. a little bit of rocking there side to side. So if I were to come back here from the rear, you get just a little bit more play, but they don't feel awful back here. A little bit more stiff here in the middle. So, and then you get the same experience over here on this white copy. It's a little bit play there from the rear, but all around pretty similar feeling. So let's go ahead and drop the click quality sound test. And as for the weight and balance, everything on both of my copies feels spot on. This thing feels so lightweight in the hands. Bigger skates on the yellow copy. Got this one coming in right at about 40.0 grams. And what I was talking about with this white copy, even though it does have the dot skates on there, you think it'd be just a little bit lighter, but it's actually coming in about at the same weight as the yellow. This is using a web-based software and it is very sleek and clean. I do recommend clicking on this option right here. This does give you the maximum performance for the gaming mouse, but it can reduce battery life. It does allow you to adjust the debounce setting down to 0 milliseconds for the lowest click latency possible. And then it easily allows you to adjust your DPI and polling rate. As for the performance on these, everything has been feeling great. With the 3950 sensor, this is also using the Nordic 52840 chip inside of it, and they are also using the 8K Compex firmware solution. Now, unfortunately, I'm unable to give you guys direct numbers that I was able to pull off of these mice due to the issues that I have been having with the XLAT system and these Omron Opticals. They keep giving me random spikes that have been throwing off the overall results of the numbers. But when it comes to the other mice that I have been able to successfully test with the same internals and the same firmware, the performance has been up there with the other top performing gaming mice on the market. The shape of this really does just feel identical to the Pulsar X2H Mini, but it is just slightly a little bit larger. So let's just go ahead and we'll jump right into it here. Coming down here on the bottom, the curve profile does feel pretty similar, and even the grip width on these, even here in the middle, though the Scyrox is a little bit bigger, the width does feel very similar between these. And if you look at the hump profile from the top mid down to the sides, both these kind of have that almost a ball feeling to them in the back with the aggressive hump there. So looking at both these aside, you can just see the curve profile from front to back. If you had any experience with this mouse, then you should have a really solid understanding on what to expect with the V8. And next up, we'll compare it to the X2H. The X2H is actually much larger than it, just feeling all around. When you do put it together, it is a little bit wider down here in the middle, but the hump on the X2H does just all around feel more aggressive. So it has a lot more size to it as far as height, even back here in the rear, and just has a greater width in the roundness to it as well. And Ninjutsu Sora V2. You know, when you grip these mice with the curve profile and the sides on them, they do feel somewhat similar as far as just holding it up here goes. I do feel like the Ninjutsu Sora V2 has a little bit more curves going from bottom to top, where this one just feels a little bit flatter over here. And with the VXE MadR Major being its biggest competitor, being in the same price range, and overall just kind of having just a similar feeling in general. Now, both of these really do feel great, but the shape on these, you know, pretty different for the most part. This one feels a lot closer to the original Pulsar X2, where, like I've already said, this is more to the X2H, so this does have a little bit flatter sides, a little bit wider filling as far as the grip width goes, but it doesn't have that as aggressive rear end over here, feeling wider and just kind of restricting my grip style just a little bit more. At the end of the day, between these two, it really just comes down to, you know, a shape difference. All around, the Scyrox does feel just a little bit tighter. I like the skates a little bit more on this. The material feels a little bit thicker, even though the material on this isn't bad. The way I grip this, I get like no bend from it at all. And the same thing, if you were to squeeze really hard back here, yeah, you can get a little bit of flex, but the entire time that I use this in the hands, it feels solid. Even my clicks being very aggressive there, as you can see, I'm not getting any major side to side or anything. So really the feeling between these feel really good. Again, with this one just feeling a little bit more buttoned up. So these are still both really fantastic options at the top of my list. You can't go wrong with either one of them. So it really just comes down to your preference on the shape. Alright guys, so that about wraps things up on the Scyrox V8, and truly everything about this mouse, it absolutely does live up to the hype. The fact that this has no holes on it, it does feel really solid for the weight that it does come in at, and the coating on this, just everything about the way that this feels in the hand really does feel great. And I can honestly see this being an end game for a lot of people. So even though this shape is not my personal favorite shape out there, I'm really looking forward to see what the future has. And my message to Scyrox is just do literally this exact same thing, larger set style skates, and I mean coating, switches, everything exactly like this mouse, and I would just dish out as many shapes as you can, and I guarantee you that this mouse is so good that they're going to be a hit. Alright guys, so if you have any questions or feel like I left anything out, please let me know down in the comments below. If you've enjoyed watching this video and are interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel, and thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.